Hello, professionals. My name is Vico Aladdin, and I'm the founder of Professional Lunch. Today, we have the CEO of Preference Employment Solutions here, David Dietz. We are going to talk about workforce navigations, especially for young professionals. David, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. Well, on Professional Lunch, we always ask our guests to tell us a little bit about themselves. How did they get to be doing what they are doing now? So tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, sure. Well, how did I get to be doing what I do now as CEO of Preference? I'll share with you. I've worked there 27 years. I started right out of college, went to school at MSUM in Moorhead, Minnesota, and pursued an accounting degree. Decided by my senior year of college that I wasn't so sure I wanted to do accounting full time, and I do a little bit of it yet today, but I enjoy other areas of other aspects of business. I love business, and I was introduced to our beautiful profession, the recruiting, staffing, and human resources profession, by my parents, my mom and dad.
Really?
Yeah, they actually founded Preference back in 1987. And I was, a teenager at that time, and I must admit, I kind of fell in love with it. I chose this profession, and so that was 27 years ago, and since then my parents retired from the business about 11 years ago, and it's been me and my employee owners since then.
Wonderful. So, what did you do before that? Is that your first job?
Almost. I did work almost 1 year for a company that no longer exists in Fargo that was called Lutheran Health Systems. And Lutheran Health Systems at the time owned a lot of nursing homes and assisted living healthcare facilities throughout the Midwest and also in Arizona. And so I was an accounting grunt. I supported a finance director and a few CPAs doing, accounting projects for them. And that was probably what sealed the deal as far as me knowing for myself that I didn't want to do accounting full time. Yep. And I bless the hearts of those that do. But I wanted to get into recruiting, and that's what I've been doing since.
Wonderful. So when you did you start as a CEO or did you start as something, like a different position?
I started as a receptionist.
Okay.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
yeah. Did receptionist, did that for a year or so, and then worked as a staffing consultant doing manufacturing staffing. Since then I had done some office administrative staffing. Okay. And the best part about that is the people I work with today are a lot better at that than I was. Really? And then after that, I really gravitated towards the employer side of the house. In a recruiting and staffing business, you kind of have two customers, right? You have all the job seekers that you help out. They're talented people looking to get the right job, the right career. Most of the jobs we have at Preference are permanent, full time. We do a little bit of temporary staffing as well for those that want those opportunities. It's a great way to build your resume. We can talk about that. But I really enjoyed the business side. Okay. I get a curious mind about how companies work, different industries, and there's so many different businesses in the Fargo-Moorhead area. As you know, we have manufacturing companies, we have banks, we have insurance companies, we have higher education, we have healthcare, we have technology companies, we have logistics, warehouses. We have so much here. Yeah. And so I love that. I just really enjoy touring companies, getting to know the owners, the executives, the human resources folks at those businesses. That's a lot of fun, and that's what I like to do.
Wonderful. So how long you were after you become a CEO?
I've been CEO for it'll be next Tuesday it'll be 11 years. Wow. It was January 1st of 2013.
Wonderful. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So, but now I want you to tell me what are some of the services that your company provides that young professionals can take advantage of?
Yeah, sure. So we have 4 different divisions within Preference. 3 of the 4 are pertain to recruiting and staffing. One of them is the professional search. It's there's 3 people in that department. All they do is recruit people and match them to employers' job openings in the Fargo-Moorhead region. Mid to upper level roles, accounting and finance, leadership and management. Let's see, human resources, and we do a lot of call them higher level office jobs in the construction industry. Some IT now we do. We're getting into IT positions as one of our niches. Yep. So Preference does not specialize in every type of job, but we are so we have different areas of specialization. As implied, we don't do everything, but we do have quite a few niches.
Okay.
So those are some examples of what the professional search division of Preference does.
Okay. So how about executive positions? Do you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then the second division that we have at Preference is what we call our office administrative staffing department. And the people in that department, they're very busy all day, every day, all year long, placing receptionists, customer service positions, bookkeepers, office jobs. That's what they do. Our third department is what we call our industrial staffing division. And that does all manufacturing, warehouse, a little bit of construction, and that's what that team does all day, every day. Forklift operators, welders, CNC machinists, production, assembly, things like that. Skilled as well as unskilled.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the fourth department that's relatively new to Preference is what we call our payroll and human resources department. And that really has nothing to do with recruiting and staffing. That area of our business supports small and medium-sized employers in the Fargo-Moorhead region with human resources services. And how that works is kind of like this. Say your company is a really good company, but it's too small to justify the cost of hiring an HR manager or have a human resources department. So we, in a very cost-effective way, we help those businesses with outsourced HR department. So they get to enjoy the HR department that normally only big businesses do.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love that. So what are some of the industries that have the most opportunities right now when you are looking at the market?
Industries, oh gosh. Where should we start? I think there's quite a few.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, as most of us recall, the economy locally here in the North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota region, and really U.S.-wide, was pretty hot. I remember when I graduated from college back in the mid-1990s, the job market was not so great. I mean, it was okay. There were jobs, but you really had to work hard to get a good job coming out of school. Today that's mostly different yet. And then the COVID economy with all the government stimulus really, cranked the heat up in the room, if you will. There's some good to that, maybe some consequences too that we're all feeling now with inflation and whatnot. But, it's still a fairly strong job market today.
Wonderful. So when it comes to, you talk about IT, you talk about construction, you talk about manufacturing, healthcare, because one thing we find out is there is a workforce shortage that the chamber's talking about, the city's talking about, everybody's talking about that.
Yes.
And so in your day-to-day, do you see the shortage more in healthcare? Do you see it in technology, or do you see it? What are you seeing?
I have two responses.
Okay.
Broadly, there's generally speaking a labor shortage in kind of everywhere. Just in a broad sense. Now, second response, there are some careers in some industries where the supply and demand imbalance is greater. And you mentioned healthcare, tech, certain IT roles. Yes, those are some really good examples.
Yeah.
Other examples would be, the trade industry, various trades, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, skilled carpenters, and wow, my gosh, HVAC technicians. Some of these roles pay really good income.
Yeah.
Pretty decent if you're starting in the trade, and especially if you're good, you say you've done it for a few years. Wow, you can really make very good incomes.
Yes.
And one of the challenges that I think America has altogether is we just don't have enough people that want to do those trades, or maybe aren't aware of the opportunity that they offer.
Yeah, that's a discussion that I've had many times with high school students, and sometimes they grow up and see that maybe their dad is a carpenter, their dad is, a plumber, and some of them would, incline to go into those fields, but there is that perception out there. There's that. Oh, you're gonna go for that? No, you should go to a 4 year, or maybe their friends are convincing them. But I said, well, if you are thinking of, of opportunities that you want to enjoy right after college, maybe 2 years in training, and then you can enjoy some good opportunities to make a very good living. These are, a good place to be. These are good careers to go into.
They really are. A lot of stability. I challenge people to think about who's going to fix their shower if it breaks. Who is going to build a house that they would like to build? Who's going to install a new furnace in their home when on a cold winter night when you really really need a new furnace?
Yes.
We're running out of people to do those things, and so I feel like our country as a whole in America, we're getting ourselves in a little bit of trouble here. Who's going to help contribute to society and help our economy churn and take care of ourselves if there aren't enough people with those skills and interests of helping out.
Yes, wonderful. I'm so glad you mentioned that. And when you see now we're looking at those trade jobs, but when it comes to some different positions, for instance, do you see that some companies companies will contact you to say that, oh man, I have this higher position, I'm having a hard time filling it? Do you see the challenges, the hiring challenges there also?
A little bit. We have more than one type of customer at Preference as far as the business customer. Thankfully, many of our client employers, we've helped them for many, many years. Some of them 20, some even 30 years.
Wow.
And they don't reach out to us just because they can't find a good employee on their own. They're reaching out to us because we're part of their hiring process.
Okay.
We're part of their that human resources function, if you will. They know our pricing, they know our service, they know our guarantee. They lean on us to help them vet good candidates all year long.
Okay.
And so that's the bread and butter of our business. Yes, we do also have another segment of business customers that only reach out to us maybe once a year or a few times a year because they have internal human resources. They do their in-house recruiting, and they'll lean on Preference in a supplementary fashion as needed. And so we do help those businesses well and appreciate those opportunities.
Wonderful. So now I would like to ask you, do you know of opportunities that young professionals are looking for elsewhere that in Fargo here, those opportunities may exist? The reason why I'm asking the question is because earlier we were talking about that, and I get to see that, from students that I talk to. Sometimes they may be looking for a position in a company in Atlanta, where in Fargo here, these opportunities exist. Is that something that come across when you have talent coming to your door?
Seeking what type of opportunities?
Like for instance, let's say an accountant, looking for maybe a job that's an entry-level job that pays better, and they will be looking in Atlanta for those opportunities.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, an engineer, for example, might be looking in Minneapolis for an opportunity where they think that, oh, I might get a higher pay over there. Is that something that you see in your line in day-to-day?
Yes, it absolutely is. One of the reasons why people come to Preference looking for career opportunities is for upward mobility reasons. They're talented, it's the kind of job seekers that they've got some skills, they've got a work ethic, they have ambitions, and if they feel like they're capped out at their current employer in a current role, which sometimes just happens, it's not always anyone's fault. Sometimes employers, they don't have opportunities to move people up, if you will, within their organization. And sometimes they do, but if they don't, we find those people coming to preference looking for the next step in their career, that next level in their professional development.
Wow, wonderful.
And you mentioned accountant. So yeah, the accounting and finance is one of our specializations.
Okay.
And so we help people, say if, it might be somebody that is just graduating from college and looking for their first bookkeeping job or first accounting job. Those types of people we absolutely help.
Wonderful.
We also help people that maybe are in their first bookkeeping role and maybe they've done it for, who knows, 3, 5, 8 years, 10 years. And if they are capped out because their business is smaller or something and they're looking for upward opportunity, then we see those types of people come into preference looking for that next step in their career.
Wonderful. So now my next question is about, college students. And I'm glad you kind of mentioned that. So what are some of the strategies that young professionals can use to find a job right after college?
So I have a few ideas for you.
Okay.
Of course, first I'd say, well, you have nothing to lose by coming into preference. and we do get a lot of college graduates, a lot of them that come in, they're looking for that first big career play, and they know Preference's brand. We're known for helping people with that career placement. And so that would be a good place to start. Networking. It's so encourage college graduates or recent graduates to network, and many do already. I see some could more than they do. We live in this world. I'm going to pick up my phone here of social media, and that's another tool. You can network on LinkedIn, but gosh, golly, when I think of networking though, I think of building relationships. Getting to know people, shaking their hand, looking them in the eye, holding meaningful conversations, swapping business cards or at least names and phone numbers, staying in touch with people, building those relationships. That's what can make someone memorable. And because, people talk, employers know other employers. And when people are looking for work and they know about you, that is a competitive advantage, I think, than just seeing your profile on LinkedIn. Of course, people can always do the job boards. The career builders, the monsters, the Indeeds of the world. Those are certainly options as well for people.
So earlier in one of your answers, you mentioned resumes. Now, what is from your experience, what is the best way someone can go about creating the resume to make it stands out? If we don't have a table, you don't have like a board here to write things down, but can you kind of explain from what you've seen in your time at Preference, what are some of the best way to have or your resume, or what are some of the things you can include in your resume or on your resume to make it stand out?
Oh, sure. Well, I have a few examples. I must admit, my team back at the office would be able to share a lot, probably more examples for you than I can, because they're so front line with that. Yeah. But to start with, what I hear my team say is, keep your resume simple if you can. If you can keep it to 1 or 2 pages, sometimes it's better than 3 or more. If it gets too lengthy, you might get overlooked or just skimmed versus read. Make it clear and concise. Make it easy to read. A lot of people like bullet points, very succinct, language on the resume instead of being too wordy. If that makes sense. Let's see. What would be another example? I had something off the tip of my tongue. I know. Whether you're a younger professional in college, coming out of college, or even midlife or so, transferable skills, including a section on your resume with skills that are transferable from one job to another or one industry to another.
That's good. I'm glad you mentioned that. So skills that are transferable, name a few for the professional lunch audience.
Yeah. Let's just say communication skills, influence, ability to influence or sell, leadership skills, organizational skills.
Yes.
if you're a project manager, maybe your project manager, a project manager's project management skills or organizational skills could very well apply to other roles. So those would be some broad examples.
That's really good. And so, professional lunch is about helping young professionals in launch their careers, find meaningful careers, and sometimes there are many ways to go about that. And we will talk a little bit about your career, so what you love about your career, what are the challenges you face in your line of work in a little bit. But when it comes to launching the careers, when you were in college, right now, think about it. When you were in college, how did you decide on what you wanted to go for?
Mm-hmm. In my own experience, which I have seen with some other people in my network, is sometimes process of elimination.
Okay.
It's trying out different jobs when you're younger to know what you maybe don't like to do, because one could adapt the mindset that if you really know what you don't want to do, that helps you identify what you might enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
My example earlier, I started my first year out of college in an accounting job. And it was all fine. Maybe I would still be there, but it didn't turn my crank. I wanted to do sales and do recruiting, and as I look back, that probably was a good decision for me. And truthfully, there's other people out there that make a better accountant than me.
Yeah. Well, so that comes to the point where I like to ask guests to tell me, their experiences. Now, tell me about some of the things that you love about what you do.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, how much time do we have? I do enjoy it. I'll start with this. About the time I took the helm as CEO and president of Preference Employment Solutions, we became an employee-owned company.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and to this day we are 100% employee-owned through an ESOP trust, employee stock ownership plan. That's a really fun way to work in a business. Yeah. It's a fun career, where you show up for work every day, and every person on your left and everyone on your right all own the company with you. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And so the culture that I've been able to drive with that employee ownership has been very special to me. I enjoy it. It's fun to work with others that have an equity stake in the business. I enjoy not working for someone else. Preference is a local company to the Fargo-Moorhead region. We're not part of a corporate chain or franchise chain, which many are very successful. We just kind of like to do our own thing at Preference, where we have some independent spirits, I guess, and want to serve our customers the way we think, in listening to them, want to be served. And so when you're a local company and employee-owned, you can just kind of do whatever you want. That helps your customers. So the employee ownership culture is part of it. The people on our team, our average tenure is approximately 10 years per person, and that's not so common. The recruiting and staffing industry average employee tenure is 18 to 20 months. Wow. So we're pushing 5 or more fold over the industry average. I love my team. It's you get to know people for a long time and appreciate all the hard work they do. And I know all their families pretty much. And, so that's special, right?
That's good. Yes, it is good.
Yeah, and the concept of what we do, the solutions that we provide to businesses, the human resources services, the recruiting services. I enjoy the concept of it.
Yeah, one thing I like about about that is the fact that you are helping the companies, the employers, find talents, and also you are helping the talents find opportunities with employers. So that's a one stone, two birds, right?
It is, yeah.
So I like that concept.
Exactly. Whenever we help somebody, we help too.
Yes, exactly. So you think about it, and that's one of the good way to think about recruiting, as really you are making a difference into different group of people. Right?
For sure. Yeah. So our purpose at Preference is to help people reach their potential.
There you go.
That's our purpose. And if we believe that if we serve our purpose well, the employer will benefit too.
Yes.
You know, you help people with their career by helping them reach their career potential, their life's potential. But there again, if the people we place in jobs are doing just that, well, of course, the business is going to benefit too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you kind of touched on that earlier. I want to follow up on the employees, on model that you mentioned. So what are some of the benefits? Because you're not the first, people person, professional that I have on the show who mentioned that their company is employee owned. What are some of the benefits of being part of an employee owned business?
Yeah. The benefits that come to my mind are, there's a few of them. Obviously, one of them is financial. So our whole company is literally owned by everybody that works there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So in addition to being paid your salary and your other benefits, we also have a 401k plan with a very healthy match, employer match. We pay 100% of the health insurance. We have all kinds of benefits, passion for life, PTO. Every third year, our employee owners can just leave their job for an extended period of time and do the things that, to be honest, most people have to wait till they retire to do, and then come back fully paid. We have quarterly date night. We have rest and rejuve day. We have a whole list of benefits. And my goal, since I took the helm in January 1 of 2013, is to add a new employee benefit every year until I retire.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're on target. Yeah, since 2013, and we've had at least one new employee benefit every year since then. It's becoming a very long list. Which is exciting. But the employee ownership, obviously, the profits they stay with us. So there again, in addition to your salary and benefit package, you share in the company profits. Another benefit of the employee ownership is what we talked about a little bit ago, is the culture. And along with that, one of Preference's 5 core values is empowerment. And that's my favorite of the 5. I really believe in empowerment, and I've really learned over the years that the more accountable people are, the more you can empower them. And then when they're even more accountable, then you can empower them more. And so it's really about adapting the mindset of replacing the old ways of just hiring an employee and training them to do their job with hiring someone that's going to have stock in your company and teaching them the business. And that's what we strive to do at Preference.
Wonderful, man. I love the passion, because now one thing I realize is, maybe I should ask you first. Does the culture seem different when it is an employee-owned company, or when it's not? Can that change the culture a little bit?
Well, in my experience at Preference, yes, but not a little bit. It's changed our culture very drastically. Okay. In a very positive way.
Yeah.
Very positive way.
Yes.
There again, everyone owns the company together, so it's just different. We're growing, and actually we're very likely going to add 3 or 4 new positions in the next 1 to 2 quarters.
Okay.
Well, wait, we just got an offer acceptance late yesterday, so that leaves us with 2 or 3 to hire yet instead of 3 or 4. But we're interviewing for 2 or 3 other roles right now. And these are our positions we've not, 2 of those 3 we've never had before. So we're truly growing.
Okay.
And so our team is back to thinking that, okay, here we are. A lot of long-timers on our team. Now we're going to add a few newbies. And it goes back to, we're not just hiring another employee. We're hiring an employee owner. That's going to get stock in the company. So it's different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're looking for people that believe in our purpose of helping people reach their potential in their career and their life. If they don't believe that, they can't work here. It's getting people that share our 5 core values. If they can't share our 5 core values, they probably aren't going to be a fit either. So we've become pretty selective over the years. But it's good, and we've learned that when we get that right person, they join our team, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
We want people to be happy and successful, because if they're happy in their role at Preference and successful at what they do, then our customers win.
Wonderful. So now we talk about what you love about your work. So what are some of the challenges that you face as the CEO of the company?
Oh, there are none. It's very easy every day. Yeah. Yeah.
I must say that this is the first time I get that.
Yeah. No, I that's a good question.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I see, we're a small business with 19, soon to be 22 or 23 people on our internal team. But, when you add up all of the co-employees and the staffing employees, we're approaching 1,000 people on our payroll. So there's a lot of responsibility there that maybe is invisible when you just drive by our building.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with leadership, with legal compliance, with systems, technology. Anyway, like every other business, I guess. And I think what comes to my mind when you ask me this question is sometimes I'll read a magazine article or read a book or see some flashy news article in the media that references CEOs that are almost like a celebrity CEO. They're under the spotlight, they're up on stage, they're in the news, and they're smiling, and everything just seems perfect and happy. and you know what? It's not.
Yeah.
And I have very much a lot to be thankful for and appreciative for what I have. But behind the scenes, behind the curtain, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and you have bad days that go with the good days. Let's see reality for what it is. Let's be honest here. It's not an easy job.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not going anywhere. I love what I do, and I'm extremely committed to it. I hope to work there 10, 15 years yet, maybe longer. But I think there's a misunderstanding from some people out there that just think, gosh, oh yeah, your job is easy, it's fun, and you just get paid a lot because you're lucky. And it's not that way.
Yeah.
And I know of other very fine leaders in my network that are very humble. You barely even hear about them. They're not in the news. They're always working.
Yeah.
And they're working hard to serve their team. They're not working hard to put themselves in the spotlight or on a stage. They're serving their team. And that takes a lot of work to put other people first. I'm thankful to be surrounded by other fine leaders in my network, both at Preference and outside of Preference. I have some clients with some very fine leaders that are in a executive role or ownership role that I've learned a lot from over the years. Truly. And I think some of them don't even maybe know how much I've learned from them. But I'm always, watching others and very selective on who I watch. And as the years go by, I'm more and more selective on who I hang out with.
Yeah. So, that's, our conversation today is about workforce navigation and how young professionals can make the most out of their professional lives and find opportunities that are available in the community. Because that's what's gonna make the community a thriving community when they find opportunities here. So this question is really to help them make those decisions. So
yes,
this is the time that I always ask my guests, what advice do they have for young professionals starting out right now? And earlier you kind of mentioned networking, and I think I'm pretty big on networking because I've seen the power of networking, the last 3 years and what that has done for me. So now I'm asking you, what other advice do you have for young professionals who are launching their careers?
Yeah, very good question. I have a few responses. I'll share something that I've shared with my kids.
Yeah.
My kids are now 18 and 21 years old. And kids of my lovely wife, Misty, of 23 years. And there's four things that I've encouraged my kids to invest in their life. The The fourth most important one is invest in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
The third most important is invest in companies.
Mm-hmm.
But the second most important investment to make in their life that I in my view that I teach my kids is to invest in relationships with other people.
Mm-hmm.
The number one is to invest in yourself.
Wow.
Invest in yourself. So that's what I tell my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's and it's okay if others don't agree with that, but that's just some life experiences that I've had, I guess. But beyond that, be curious.
Mm-hmm.
Approach every day with a curious mind. Always be learning.
Yeah.
Always be learning. I'm affiliated with some employee owners at Preference that are always learning, and as a result, they adapt to change well. They never become stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
They're always looking for that next thing, honing that next skill, learning new, grasping new knowledge, adapting to new technology, and some of those things can be scary, right? Right? But that's a fun way to live, to embrace those things and never just think you know it all.
Yes.
Because we don't.
Yeah.
None of us do.
Man, I'm so glad you mentioned that because we are planning on we are putting together a book for professional lunch. The professional lunch. The book is coming out sometime in March next year, and one of the things that we want to highlight is advice from career professionals that we have on professional lunch. And I have people say, get involved, ask for help, and say yes, and also network and get a mentor. But you are one of the first person who say invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. For me, I think that is one of the best advice you can get, simply because when you invest in yourself, you know that the continuous learning that you mentioned is there, and investing in yourself meaning learn from other people.
Yes.
That's invest in yourself, cover, building new relationships so that you can develop yourself, have a variety of perspective on different things, and really invest in yourself, cover, kind of embrace all these advices.
It does. It's a broad. It's kind of a broad mindset, but a good approach to life. Another benefit, if you're investing in yourself, you'll never be bored.
Yeah.
You're out. You're like, your mind is always open and fresh, and the sun is shining. There's water and fertilizer falling on your plants, and because our brains are gardens, right? And keep that soil fertile, keep the rain and sun and the nutrients going. There again, and that of course I'm biased. It comes back to preferences, purpose, helping people reach their potential, and we have to do that ourselves in order to help people with that too. So invest in yourself, and financially too. Everyone's of course talking about inflation the last 2-3 years, right? In America and in other countries too, and I saw a clip from Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway investor, and what does he say during times of inflation? Well, invest in yourself. If you want to get ahead of inflation, you want to try to grow your income to keep up with inflation, because a dollar is not what a dollar was, right? Yeah. And so, how do I get from 30,000 salary to 40? How do I get from 40 to 50 or 50 to 60 or whatever? Well, Warren Buffett says invest in yourself. And I think he's probably done a few things right. So
oh yes. After I get my bachelor's degree, Warren Buffett said something that really sealed the deal for me to go for my master's in communication. He said that if young professionals that are in college right now develop their communication skills by 50%, develop their communication skills, they prepare themselves by 50% for the marketplace.
Oh, sure.
And when he said that, I took that to heart, and I really believe that being able to articulate what your ideas are, being able to articulate what you can do for a company,
right,
is really a good indication of your success. That will contribute to your success a lot. And I think When you mentioned Warren Buffett, that pops in my head. That pops in my head right away.
And if I can build off what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, you're speaking to young professionals that are just coming out of college or maybe in college.
Mm-hmm.
People of that age are most likely grew up with this here more than
Ooh.
some of us did, right?
Yep.
The
Yep.
phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if I were a young professional, I would have less reliance on the phone, on the social media, not ignoring it. It's part of life, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal technology tool. But how do you hone your communication skills? Well, it's speaking with people. It's showing up at networking events versus social media.
Yep.
It's practicing speeches. It's the things that you know.
Yeah. So, some of my friends call me old fashioned because sometimes I'd rather meet face to face
Yeah.
than having a conference call. Not that they are not good, like Zoom and stuff like that and Teams. But sometimes if I can, I'd like to meet with someone face to face. We sit down, we have coffee, we have lunch, and then we talk. Not just, every time with the phone, the phone, the phone. The phone is good, there are times for it, but
Mm-hmm.
true, if you want to have meaningful relationships, usually, having that human factor, that connection,
Yes.
you build that more uh, better. I mean, I would say you build that better when you are face to face. When we are having a conversation, we are sitting down, and then our phone is aside, and then we are having a conversation. I think that really is a good thing. And when I defend that, my friends call me old fashioned. They say it's the new age. You got to use the phone. You got to. Like, yes, I will use the time when the time calls for it. So, David, we are at the very last few minutes of the conversation. Anything that you forget to mention or you wanted to mention that I didn't give you, I didn't ask the right question?
Mm.
Do you, this is the time for you to say that and also talk to the young
Mm.
people that we are
Oh,
addressing.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, America's capitalistic economy
Mm-hmm.
for the last 200 and some years
Yeah.
has created a standard of living that has been unmatched by anywhere else in the world in the history of the world.
Mm.
And I encourage young professionals, whether you're in college or not, to take note of that. I see people moving to America from other parts of the world that see this beautiful, capitalistic playground that we have and all the opportunity with it. And so, not being afraid to maybe entrepreneur
Mm-hmm.
or just go get them, right? I guess I see no ceilings for people in America,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I hope most people feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a personal part of my personal belief system is if you have strong ethics and values, treat people well, and just really work hard, that you can go somewhere.
Yeah.
And I still see a lot of opportunity in America today. I think the American dream is alive.
Yeah.
And to couple with that, when I was a young professional, I just turned 50 this year.
Ah,
When I
yeah.
was, in my teens and 20s, I certainly was not far enough along in my career where I wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
not financially,
Mm-hmm.
not accomplishment wise. And I encourage young professionals to be reflective and mindful that as you write down your goals
Mm-hmm.
and know where you want to go in your life, it doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time. And I know a few people that knew exactly what they wanted in their life when they were young.
Yeah.
I was not one of them, and I see a lot of people that aren't either.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lucky, if you know what you want in your life, a career and otherwise, when you're young, you know what, good for you.
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm happy for people with that. But if people are young and don't know exactly what career path would make them happy or successful, it's okay. Don't get down.
Yeah.
Go expose yourself to opportunities as best you can,
Mm-hmm.
whether it is networking or temping at a staffing service,
Mm-hmm.
or just trying things out, talking to
Yeah.
people. Because you know what, if you don't give up, eventually you'll find the career that you're really, really happy with.
Wonderful. I love that. A couple of things that you say that really, really uh, stand out with to me. It's the fact that I am an immigrant. I come here for school,
Awesome.
and when I come here, you know, it's almost opportunities are everywhere,
There are, yeah.
right? And sometimes I feel funny going to a school talking to someone who has been here all their life about using assistantships, using scholarships to go to school so that you don't have debt when you finish, using the resources that are available to you, so that when when you're done with college, you don't have a burden.
Right.
When you're
Right.
done with college, you can find the opportunities, the job that you want. So one of the things that we talk about in the book is coming up. It's the fact that if you go to a 4-year college, when the time you're done, you should be able to get a job, if not your ideal job, and we lay, like the path for you to do that. Simply because while you are in college, you have the time to build a brand, you have the time to connect with people. There is the system that is available to you allows you to succeed in that way. So, it's like I said, when I am new here, but getting to see these opportunities, right, makes it all interesting because if you are in it, you may not notice that. You might take them for granted, right? And that might be something that, it might take somebody like me to help you see it. And I think that was a good point. So, yeah.
Well, you're an example of American success. You mentioned you immigrated to America 20 or
Yeah,
so years
yeah.
ago, and here you are today. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I really do. I just I love seeing people just have success in their life and in their career, and that and maybe that's probably why I just am excited to work at Preference, because we see that every day and help people with that. So it's rewarding.
Wonderful. David, you make the day today with the conversation. I really love our conversation. And so we get to the last few minutes of the show right now. So I want to give you maybe 30 seconds to say a few words to the professional lunch audience. You already, you share the advice, but this is the last minute of the show right now. So last word.
Oh gosh, last word. You know what? My saying is live the life you choose.
Yes.
And most people that know me well hear that all the time, and it's up on my wall and in my office. And so
Live the life you choose.
Yeah, live the life you choose. We're all gonna die way too soon. Life is too short the way it is for everybody.
Yeah.
And so live the life you choose. And I guess what I mean by that is be intentional.
Yeah.
Bring clarity to what you want in your life, and then go get to work at it.
That's wonderful. Well, David, thank you so much for a wonderful conversation today, and it was a pleasure to have you on Professional Lunch.
Well, thank you for the invite, and keep up the good work.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, Professional Lunch audience, I have a few words for you. This year we're gonna be part of Giving Hearts Day. We are relying on you, friends, guests who have been on Professional Lunch to help us raise our goal or get our goal. So when Giving Hearts Day, on Giving Hearts Day, find Professional Lunch on the platform and support us so that we can continue with the podcast, having interesting guests like David Dietz today here. So we thank you in advance for the support that you have given Professional Lunch. Now, this is the part that I tell you. It's up to you to make today a great day. Have a great day. David, thank you very much.
Thank you.